Hi, I'm Anastasia Chatzka, a fashion designer with over 20 years of experience and a sewing educator. And I'm really excited you're here to share another sewing adventure with me today. Welcome to Sewing Anastasia, and today I'm going to show you how to cover a metal snap with fabric. So cool, right? So a lot of times you want to put these on a jacket or on a garment, but you don't want to see the big shiny snap there. So what we're going to do is cover this in fabric. This very much so is a couture technique. If you're not already a subscriber to Sewing Anastasia, make sure you hit the notification bell so that way you know when all my new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. And don't forget, I'm now teaching sewing classes in my design studio in Chicago, Illinois, and virtually. You can check them all out at sewinganastasia.com. Supplies for this project are super easy. You're going to need one hand-sewn snap that you can cover with fabric. You're going to need your hand sewing needle. You're also going to need a scrap piece of fabric. I also recommend a little bit of chalk and some scissors to cut that fabric out with. And if you have it, a fabric hole punch will make your life so much easier with this. You can totally do it without a fabric hole punch. You could use an awl or any other way you can think of to put a little slice in your fabric. A little razor blade or a snip from some scissors will do as well. First thing we're going to do is punch a hole in the fabric because we're going to be sewing the male part of the snap first. So go ahead and punch a hole in the fabric, but make sure it's at least an inch away from the edge. So I'm going to put a hole in my fabric right about there. I'm going to squeeze it nice and hard, and there we go. So now I've got my little hole here for the fabric. Now I have my little hole here for the snap to go through. So then you'll notice I can just take the snap and push it through to the top. Awesome, right? No matter what method you use, what you want to do is push the male part of the snap through the fabric. So we don't have a big hole in the front, but it perfectly fits through the fabric. Now that we have the male part of the snap through the fabric, we need to cut off all this extra fabric, but not to the snap. We need to leave at least a ½ inch all the way around the snap. So this is the back side of my fabric, and I'm going to be cutting roughly a ½ inch all the way around the snap. You don't want to leave too much fabric because then it's going to end up way too bulky on the back of your snap, and you don't want to leave too little, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, so now I have that cut out. It's not even, but it really doesn't matter. Next, you're going to need your hand sewing needle. So grab some thread about 2 feet long and thread your needle and put a knot on the end of it, and make sure you're using a double thread. If you need help with this and how to tie a knot at the end of your thread, make sure you check out my video for that. Now what we're going to do is run a basting stitch all the way around the snap, about a ¼ inch out from the actual snap. So a basting stitch is just taking your needle and going up and down and up and down all the way around the snap. Once you've done that, we are going to pull the, oops, so little. Once you've done your basting stitch all the way around, we are going to pull this thread and it's going to cinch up the fabric. So small to deal with. So it's almost going to make this little flower all the way around the snap. So you can see how it's all bunching up on the back side, and then on the front of the snap, it's going to look nice and finished. So now what do we do with all this bunchy fabric back here, right? So now what we're going to do is sew it all together. So I just take my needle and I run it through as many layers as I can at one time. I'm going to turn direction and go the next direction, and I'm going to work my way around in a circle, making sure I'm catching all those little flaps of fabric. So that way, none of them are escaping. This one's escaping from me, so we're going to take that one, push it through to the other side. This one here, we're going to push it through to the other side. So you just want to keep catching all those little ends of the fabric. And you don't want a lot of fabric back here because otherwise it's going to be too bunchy and it's going to pop off the back of your garment and look kind of messy, and we don't want that. So after you have this secure, go ahead and make a knot. This doesn't need to look the prettiest on back because this is going to be face down on your finished project. You can go ahead and cut it right to your knot. And now when we flip it over, we have this beautiful covered male part of the snap. Now it's time to cover the other half of the snap, also referred to as the female part of the snap. For this one, we are also going to cut out a circle around the snap about twice the size of the diameter of the snap. Looking pretty good. But we want the fabric on the top of the snap that has the indent in it. So we are going to take our fabric and put it on top of it and then flip it over so it looks like that. And now we're going to do that running basting stitch all the way around the edge. I'm going to move this right now so it's easier to work with. Okay, now that we have the circle with the running basting stitch in it, we are going to place the snap right side face down, then go ahead and pull it up. Okay, so now we've got it all scrunched up in the back. The front looks like that, just flat. And now we're going to go ahead and secure it again, just working our way through all the edges. Basically just doing a whip stitch, just pulling it in and out and then pushing it through. Basically wrapping the thread around all of these edges to keep it in place. Okay, once you have it secure, go ahead and make a knot or two. Cut the extra thread and you're finished. Now you have the female part of the snap covered. We did it! We now have a fabric covered hand sewing snap. They're snapped together right now, and when we pull them apart, we have our male and our female part of the snap covered in fabric. When choosing a fabric to cover your snap, make sure you're using something that's really thin because you're going to have a bunch of bulky fabric on the back of the snap and you don't want it to be popping off of your garment or your project because you're still going to have to hand sew this onto your garment. So make sure you're using a really thin fabric. If you wanted to, you could also put some fusible spray on the snap so that way when you're covering the fabric over it, it's not going to move on you and it's also going to reinforce it because you have that spray fusible there. It'll prevent it from fraying around the hole as well. So there are a few different ways you can do this, but this is the fastest, simplest way you can cover a snap. If you're wondering how do you actually attach the snap to the garment now, well, if you remember, there were the 4 holes around the outside of the snap, so you're just gonna have to use your needle and find those 4 holes again because they're covered with the fabric. But it's gonna look so nice on your garment because it looks invisible. Thanks so much for watching Sewing Anastasia today. If you have any questions on how to cover a hand sewing snap, leave it down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, give it some applause, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below. Where would you put a covered snap on a garment or a project? I would love to know. Also, I would love to see your projects, so make sure you tag me at Sewing Anastasia so that way I can share them with everyone else and keep everyone inspired and creative. And don't forget to add me on YouTube under Sewing Anastasia and make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when all the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing to Sewing Anastasia. And make sure you follow me on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all the other fabulous social media websites so that way we can stay connected. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.